Adidas. I'm aware. The new Terex Speed Ultra is Adidas's fresh new look at trail shredding. This low-profile shoe currently being worn by Timmy Olsen as he shreds the PCT and chases the 53-day FKT is a lightweight, flexible, and grippy shoe designed to go fast on the trail. The shoe itself combines Adidas's Boost midsole and Light Strike for an interesting balance of responsiveness and underfoot comfort. While nowhere close to as protective as other low-profile trail shoes that I've reviewed recently, the Speed Ultra does feature a grippy Continental outsole, gusseted tongue, precision fit, and lots of synthetic overlays to make for a great-looking design. But does this race-ready shoe have what it takes to go the distance, or are they geared towards shorter, drier conditions only? Can handsomely good looks make this shoe worth the steep price tag, or can looks only get you so far? We're gonna find out. Let's dive in.
Ginger Runner.
What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another Ginger Runner review. I'm excited about today's review because we get to review something from Adidas, or Adidas, depending on where you live. It is a race-ready trail shoe called the Terex Speed Ultra. It's a good-looking shoe. It's been a super fun shoe, got lots of miles in it, but of course, before we dive into the likes and dislikes and all that, I have to point out that this shoe was provided for review by Adidas. I am under no obligation to say anything positive or negative about the shoe. I'm not financially compensated for this review, and of course, these are all my opinions. You are the first to see them. No one has to review them. That's basically my disclaimer at the top of every review. So, without further ado, let's talk about the things I like and dislike about the Terex Speed Ultra, starting as always with the things that I like. The hell is that? Durability. So I'm actually surprised by this. The shoe is built very, very well. We have a lot of materials here used in the upper, synthetic mesh, welded overlays. They make for a very built up upper that will last you for a long time. The Boost and Light Strike midsole plus this Continental grip outsole. Everything's holding up really well, holding together really well. And no matter what I'm throwing at it, especially more towards the technical side of things, technical trails and stuff, the shoe is still holding up very well. So despite the fact it's low profile and more reduced, less materials, it's still holding up. It's a good thing. Ground feel. So this is really where this shoe sort of shines. It's being marketed as a race-ready, fast trail shoe. I think what contributes to that feeling or that notion is the fact that it has tons of ground feel. You don't have a lot of buildup underneath in the midsole. The Boost doesn't get in the way. The last is flexible up front while still having a little bit of stiffness underneath the back half of the foot. You're gonna feel everything underfoot. There's just nothing really getting in the way of that ground feel. I know that there's a lot of people that do like a good sense of ground feel. There's also some that don't, and I'm gonna get to some of that in the dislikes. But the Speed Ultra does a really good job of connecting you to the ground, to the earth, without putting a bunch of physical layers between you and the rock and the dirt and everything like that. And finally, grip. This is actually something that surprised me. The Continental outsole does really well. I've used it before on other trail shoes and I've talked about it on this channel. But what I didn't expect is the smaller lugs, the busier sense of lugs underfoot. I was thinking that they weren't going to give you tons of grip. It's designed and modeled after a gravel bike tire. Even that made me a little wary as to what potential grip the shoe could have. But it actually does really, really well, specifically in drier conditions on single track or rockier terrain. The grip is better than what you would expect. Now, I haven't had ample opportunity to really test it in inclement conditions, but I do foresee that being an issue. Some stream crossings and wetter conditions, little muddier spots, the shoe doesn't necessarily do quite as well as it does in dry. But I am happy to report that the Continental rubber does perform quite well. It's actually holding up as far as durability is concerned as well. So we have a good outsole, plenty of grip for drier, faster conditions. That being said, it's not all banana splits and razzmatazz. There are a couple of things that I dislike about the Adidas Terex Speed Ultra. Let's get to those now. Protection. So I mentioned earlier, one of the benefits is that it has plenty of ground feel. The opposite of that is that it doesn't provide a lot of protection underfoot. You do have a ton of buildup here in the upper. From the synthetic mesh upper, the welded overlays on the outside, as well as an additional layer of fabric on the inside, the upper is really, really built up. So there's plenty of protection up top. But as far as from below, there's not much in the way of rock plate or rock protection. And when you're dealing with a lower profile shoe, that can sometimes become an uncomfortable hindrance. As a result, I found myself not really being able to go much longer than 10 to 15 miles in the shoe without discomfort, just foot fatigue. You really have to dial it in and make sure that your feet can adapt to harder, more compact, rockier, or technical terrain for longer distances. Overbuilt upper, underbuilt under. The protection isn't great. Stack and drop. So 8mm drop on this shoe. You don't really feel the 8mm drop, but the problem is that we have this sort of imbalance between boost and light strike in the midsole. I really like boost. I've talked about it on this channel before. I wish it would just sort of carry through the whole shoe, provide you with that bounce that we've come to love out of that material. What we end up getting is just sort of a lower stack, not protective, higher drop shoe that leans more into the responsive and uncomfortable realm. That stack and drop just make this shoe very specific to race environments, specifically shorter race environments, especially for people of my size. You know, I imagine people who are a little bit lighter on their feet, more nimble, faster, they might not have as many issues with protection underfoot as I have had. I wish there was a bit more stack, less drop, more boost. So it's really where this shoe sort of strikes out with me. Well, and also the final dislike, the cost. The shoe itself is $160. It's a lot of money to spend on a shoe that's sort of designed to be less and lower profile, but has a lot of elements going on here. It's just a lot of money to be spending on a shoe. And I've talked about this with other trail shoes that I've reviewed on this channel, even recently. I didn't expect them to get so expensive so quickly, especially shoes that are designed to be a little bit more minimal and reduced, less materials being used. So at $160, that is a steep price point. Time to sell a kidney or fight Mayweather, am I right? Gotta make them bags. But that is it for dislikes. So let's get more specific in the breakdown, talking about the 5 criteria: build quality, comfort, fit, price, and looks, starting with build quality. So as I mentioned, the shoe is built really well. It's built tough, the industrial strength upper mesh, the welded overlays. There's just so many materials used here, it can't help but be a durable, well-built shoe. There's a lot going on. Even the Continental rubber outsole is doing much better than I anticipated, holding up quite well. Comfort, I think this is the biggest drawback of the shoe for me. I think it's suited for race environments, shorter distance races, and basically any environment where you really want to go fast and focus on speed rather than comfort or ability to protect underfoot. It's got that lower stack. It's got a more responsive, agile feel, precision fit. Doesn't have a lot of boost midsole material, so you're not getting a ton of bounce or energy return. So comfort for me is essentially the biggest shortcoming. Fit, it is a more precision fit. I have had no problems with the fit. It's nice to have a little bit of additional ankle lockdown too. The thinner ankle collar kind of wants to flex and open up, allowing a little bit of debris in there. But the fact that you can really tighten it through the midfoot, have a little bit of toe splay in the forefoot, allows this to fit better than anticipated, more precision. Again, designed and ready for the race environment. Price, $160. This is a lot of money. This is a lot of money. Yep, that's it. And finally, looks. I'm really a huge fan of the looks of the shoe. I love the blue, the pink, the white, the black. It's a really cool combo. Whatever Adidas is doing in their design department, especially in the Terex realm stuff, like from clothing to shoes, I think it looks so good. It's really fun and modern and eccentric. So hat tip and a wink of the eye to the designers for creating some really cool looking stuff. So in conclusion, the Adidas Terrex Speed Ultra is a surprisingly fun shoe, dripping with Adidas's new modern style and design. It provides plenty of low profile, responsive speed for race environments over drier terrain, but may lack what a typical runner might need for longer distance events. It lacks that protection or underfoot cushioning that a lot of ultra endurance athletes prefer, especially for longer distances. But if you're going short distance and you want to go fast and you want to get some decent, good grip, this is a super fun shoe. You just got to get over the $160 price tag. Bringing us to our final criteria. Is the Terrex Speed Ultra a buy, try, or a why? This is going to be a try, leaning into the why, because the price is really what makes this questionable for me. It's a fun shoe, it's a cool looking shoe, which make that a try, especially if you want to go fast in those race days. But man, $160. So I'm going to stick with try. I'm curious what your thoughts are, which brings us to the end of our review. The Terrex Speed Ultra was a super fun shoe to demo. I am curious if you have run in it, or if you're excited about it, or if anything in the new Adidas Terrex line gets you excited. In the comments of this video, let us know. If you have any questions or want more information about this, or you want to get a pair for yourself, there are links in the description that are affiliate links. Click them, head on over to Running Warehouse. You can get any running gear that you want with those links. And if you're a GR crew member, you get an additional 10% off a majority of the items in the store. That goes across the gamut. So all sorts of shoes, nutrition, gear, and stuff like that. That is it for my review today, friends. Subscribe, like, favorite, do all that good stuff. Social media, links, all that. And join the GR crew. We're doing some really fun stuff there every single day. Daily live streams, book club, trivia nights, Discord server, discounts, all sorts of coupons and stuff like that if you join the crew. So consider it if you haven't already. That's my pitch. Thank you everyone for tuning in to today's review. We'll see you next week for more fun. We hope you're getting out there, training hard, racing harder, and partying the hardest. I know I am. We'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye-bye.